Hi, welcome to Centerville Reports Today. I'm Maureen Russell Hodson. And today my guest is Dr. Paul Gresham, who has decided after 16 years of serving on council that he's ready to move on to something else. So good to have you, Dr. Gresham.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here.
16 years is a long time.
It is a long time. Never thought I would serve when I was first elected, never thought I would be here 16 years, but it's been an enjoyable experience, but I'm ready to move on now.
And we're going to talk about some of the highlights of your career on council, but I want to start with the beginning. Back in '99, you were and continue to be a busy pediatrician, family
Right,
at home,
right.
Two kids. What, they still in high school maybe?
No, they
were out of
graduated high school,
okay,
and they.
but still, lots going on, and you decide you're going to throw your hat into the ring. What prompted that?
Well, I initially got involved in local government. As you said, I was a pediatrician, and for probably 10 years, I had been talking to children in my practice about wearing helmets when they rode their bikes. How it just made sense for people who ride bikes to have a helmet on, and I just couldn't get through to the kids. And so I was appointed advocacy chairman of the medical staff at Children's, and so I was charged with looking for a project. And I had been thinking about maybe looking at passing a local ordinance. So I approached the Centerville City Council with the idea and got a pretty good reception. And so I pursued it for actually 9 months before it was passed. During that 9 months, I attended council work sessions and council sessions and got a little better feel for what was going on in the city, and was approached by the mayor at that time and several other council members would I consider running for council. Council member J.V. Stone had announced that he was not running for re-election, so there was going to be an open seat. And as I say now, I guess my ego got in the way of my better judgment. I threw my hat in the ring and was elected.
But see, I look at it, here's another story of one person who is making a difference, because that ordinance did pass in Centerville.
It did. It passed before I, the December before I took office in January. And fortunately, our police were receptive to enforcing the ordinance.
And really embraced it.
And really embraced it. And, you know, you can't go anywhere in Centerville now that you don't see people, not even children, but almost everybody with a helmet on, riding their bikes. And you know, it's such a great exercise, but why take a chance with concussions or, you know, even worse injuries by not wearing a helmet? And so whenever I am out on the streets of Centerville, I have my office in Kettering. Kettering passed a similar ordinance. The police don't enforce it, and the kids don't wear helmets, by and large. So.
But I have to tell you, we have hundreds of kids who come through our city building every year for municipal tours. We always ask them, when you're on your bike, what should you be wearing? And they all say, a helmet. So they all know it's just part of how they grew up wearing helmets. So that's a good thing, and kudos to you for.
You know, I think that would have eventually gotten here, but I think that speeded it up. And the process of passing the ordinance and giving parents something to tell their kids, well, it's not our choice anymore. If you go out without it, the police are going to stop you, and then we're going to be in trouble.
Any other legislation that you worked on over your 16 years that you're particularly proud of?
The other thing, you know, being a physician, things that involve people's health. Back in 2004, I proposed at a work session that Centerville consider a smoke-free Centerville ordinance.
Now that was kind of unheard of around the area at that time, right?
There were some cities who had passed it already, and that was the strategy of Smoke-Free Ohio at that time, was to get various cities to pass it, so there'd be a base of cities that they could show, well, You know, the restaurants don't all go out of business, and it's not this big boogeyman thing that everybody says it is. So it was being done, but it was rather a new thing, yes.
And then
And
Centerville
so
Council,
Centerville, I proposed basically a 100% ordinance. All businesses would be smoke-free. As in everything in government, there had to be compromises. And Centerville passed a watered-down smoke-free law that actually in December of 2004. Smoke-Free Ohio wasn't very happy with our law, and actually, because of it, changed their strategy, and in November of 2005, they put a initiative on the ballot, which passed with like 65% of the vote to make the entire state of Ohio smoke-free. So what I felt was a loss when we compromised in Centerville, actually turned out to be kind of a victory because the whole state became smoke-free. And now children who are 11
once
years
again,
old,
right.
only if people don't smoke in their homes, the only place they see people smoking is outside in the cold.
Yeah.
So it's not a glamorous thing anymore. And so I'm proud of that also.
Yeah, they're two significant pieces of legislation that really have made a significant impact. I know too that you're involved with NLC, which is National League of Cities, and also worked on a lot of health-related issues there as well.
Yes. Shortly after I was elected, I attended my first National League of Cities meeting and decided that if I was going to be a member of the organization, I needed to get involved. So I attended what was called an HD, Human Development Committee. And that was a committee that dealt with health policy. And at that time, one of the big problems that cities were faced with was the rising cost of employee health care. And cities were routinely seeing 20, 30, 40% increase in what it cost to provide their employees health care. So I got involved. I was appointed to a healthcare task force at the National League of Cities, and we came up with policy that the National League of Cities used to lobby Congress on healthcare issues. And after a long time, no matter what you think of it, the Affordable Care Act was passed, and we no longer see those 20, 30, 40% increases every year in healthcare costs for our employees. And also, my patients all have health care. I don't have to worry about them having pre-existing conditions. My patients who graduate high school, go on to college, are able to stay on their parents' health care plans. So there have been a lot of benefits. So I'm also proud of my work with the National League of Cities on healthcare reform. Actually, I just returned yesterday from my last National League of Cities meeting. And it's been really fun. I've made friends from throughout the nation, and I'm really going to miss seeing those people.
Looking back on your time with council, any other favorite memories that stand out for you, or any special times that you can think of as far as accomplishments go, even because
downtown Centerville
really experienced a renaissance?
The golf course going from 21 holes to 27 holes, the new development around those holes. The place where I live now was not even in the city of Centerville when I was elected to council. Certainly there was no home there. We platted that land, and my wife and I bought a lot and built our current home there. So
you can't drive around Centerville without seeing something involved in that.
There are a lot of things that have been done in the 16 years that I've been in council.
And you'll continue to watch Cornerstone grow and develop as well.
Yes.
Just kind of one of the last pieces that came on board as you soon to leave. And again, you'll be on council until December 31st.
Till December 31st. My last meeting will be the third Monday night in December, and I will be there to tell everyone goodbye formally.
Yeah. Was there anything that you wanted to accomplish, Dr. Gresham, that you just wasn't able to, or didn't have time for it, or didn't get the traction maybe?
I was reminded again, attending the National League of Cities, that one of the things I would like to have done that I haven't done is to get the youth in our community more involved in local government. And it may be something that I will pursue still as a private citizen.
Yeah.
I go to the National League of Cities, and many cities bring contingents of their youth who are there learning about local government and how they can be involved in their local cities. And these kids are actually involved in their local city government. And I think one of the problems we have in Centerville is so many of our kids grow up here, go to school here, go away to college, and never come back. Yeah. And I think hopefully if they felt like they had a little more influence, a little more say in what went on locally, they would be more inclined to bring their education back to our community, get a job in the Dayton area, and contribute to our community.
That's a great plan. I hope you're able to make that happen.
Maybe if I'm retiring from my practice, so maybe I'll have to pursue that a little.
So you're not only retiring from council, but also from your medical practice. How do you plan to spend retirement?
Well, my wife is also planning to retire in the near future, and we always enjoy traveling, so we're going to travel more. Although we do travel a lot now, we'll have more time. We can take more extended vacations. Mm-hmm. We have 5 grandchildren, twins who live in Cincinnati, so we see them a lot. But we also have 3 grandchildren who were living in California, have now fortunately moved back to the Chicago area, so we hope to see more of them and get to spend more time with them as they grow and mature and become useful citizens.
And you'll keep Centerville as your home base, though?
Right now we plan to keep Centerville as our home base. We built our retirement home about 12 years ago at Yankee Trace. And we love it in the community. We've made lots of friends out there, so we will continue to keep Centerville as our home base.
And you're going to be feted with a party, which will be open to the public. We don't have the date set yet, but we know it's going to be sometime in February, right?
Yes.
So you can check out our website, centervilleohio.gov, for more information about that, or we'll make sure that that's publicly known. But then that'll actually be your final swan song as you go gently into the night. But we appreciate all of your service for the city of Centerville. And if you have questions for Dr. Gresham, you can still get them in until the end of December, right? Because he's still on council. We also encourage you to call the city with any questions about any city activities at 433-7151 or visit our website, which is centervilleohio.gov. Once again, Dr. Gresham, it's been a pleasure working with you. And on behalf of our citizens, thank you for your good work with council.
Let me just say it's been a pleasure working with you, Maureen, over these 16 years, as well as all of the staff. I think that the citizens of Centerville are blessed by having an outstanding staff working at City Hall and in the police department and in the Public Works Department and at Yankee Trace, and have been served well. Myself as a council member, and I think the citizens of Centerville are served well by the staff of the city of Centerville.
Well, thank you. We appreciate your support. We'll see you next time.